A boy cried on his mother's grave after the funeral until he saw a luxury car approach. A woman who looked just like his mom stepped out and said something he couldn't believe about the woman he had loved so dearly. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like and share this video with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them to do good. Also keep watching because an important lesson awaits at the end of the video. "I'll miss you, Mommy," Bobby said, tears coming out as the sobs went through his body. He couldn't contain them, but he wasn't in pain just because of his mother Janet's passing. He had no family left anymore, and a social worker was waiting for him at the side. He was going into a foster home and dreading it. Life is not fair. Bobby's childhood used to be great. He had both his parents, who obviously had money because he had everything he ever wanted. Every outing resulted in a new toy, so he knew they were better off than others. However, his father left them at some point, and Janet was left with nothing for some reason. She had to start working hard, and they lived in a small, cramped apartment on a sketchy side of Austin, Texas. The toys and the fun outings were gone, and all he could remember was his mother's stress about money. Sometimes, she couldn't buy him an ice cream. Bobby believed that stress eventually killed her. Now he was alone forever at 10 years old. Although his father was still alive, Bobby knew he would not come for him. No one would. Therefore, he continued crying about everything and hoped the social worker would never take him away. He would sleep forever in this cemetery if he could. But suddenly, a luxury car pulled up to the street a few meters away, and Bobby was distracted from his misery because he knew it was an expensive car. His father had driven something similar, but he couldn't remember it well. However, the person who got out of the car called his full attention. His tears and sobs dried as his mouth opened in shock. "It's Mom." "How? What? Mom?" He wondered desperately as he rounded the grave and walked towards the woman. She looked at him and walked faster. It was her. It was her. "Bobby?" she said emotionally, and Bobby's heart almost stopped. It was the same voice he had grown up with too. Did everyone lie to him about his mother's death? "Mom?" he asked when they were face to face, and the woman's eyes closed as her head dropped. "Oh no, darling. I'm not your mom. I'm your Aunt Samantha," she revealed, and Bobby frowned. "I didn't know Mom had a sister," the boy muttered, confused. "Well, there's a reason for that, and I can't tell you everything right now. But you'll know when you're older," Samantha stated, thinking of the past. 10 was too young to tell him about her feud with her sister Janet. Janet and Samantha were twins and grew up in a wealthy family, but when their parents died, Janet did everything to get the entire inheritance and ran away to California. It was ironic that Janet's husband would later take all that money and run off himself. Samantha was left with nothing after a lifetime of privilege, but she did it. But she started a business after college. At least she didn't have student loans and became a self-made woman with more than enough to spare. Often, she thought about calling Janet to brag about her situation since she knew what her ex-husband did. However, she heard about her passing when CPS located her to ask if she was willing to take Bobby in. She would not tell Bobby any of this for now, as it was a hard pill to swallow, but she had to take him. She couldn't let him go off into the system, no matter how horribly Janet had treated her. "I'm here to take you home with me, Bobby," Samantha told him, and the kid smiled, but the tears started again. Although she was a stranger, he ran into her arms, never wanting to let go. The social worker talked to them for a while and they left. He lived with Samantha until he graduated high school and went to college. Years later, he discovered what truly happened with Janet and Samantha, the inheritance, and how his father stole it. Therefore, he studied law and turned into a ruthless litigator, finding his father and suing him for every single penny he had. Bobby won. He gave half of the money to his aunt, asking her for forgiveness for what his mother had done, and started his own law practice with the rest, fighting for people who had been ripped for their hard money. What can we learn from this story? Money can destroy families and people. The inheritance ruined Janet and Samantha's relationship and then Janet's marriage. Bobby also thought she died because of money struggles. Therefore, he became a lawyer and fought for people in similar situations. When it comes to family, you must step up and do the right thing. Despite what Janet did, Samantha still came for Bobby so he wouldn't go into the system. Share this story with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them.